US troops in Iraq are suffering some of their biggest losses since they launched their invasion more than 4 years ago. The United States military says 3 more of its troops have died, making May one of the deadliest months yet for Americans. The latest security plan in Baghdad has been underway for more than 100 days. They have a new general, a new security map for the city, and tens of thousands of more troops on the streets. But this month, the US lost more soldiers than any other since November 2004. 3,464 US soldiers have been killed in Iraq since the war started in 2003. 122 of those soldiers died this month. That's over 3 times as many as the figure from May 2003, just after the invasion. In that month, 37 were killed. In both 2004 and 2005, despite a peak in attacks on US soldiers, the death tolls remained stable. 80 troops died in May of each year. In 2006, the number of US soldiers killed was slightly down at 69, which died in May of that year. But since the security plan was implemented in February, it seems the death toll is rising yet again. A top US commander now admits they will not be able to assess if that security plan is actually working for months yet. Our Iraq correspondent, Hod Abdelhamid, reports now on another bad month for the US military.
As the thousands of US troops flagged for the Baghdad security plan began pouring on the streets of the capital, the number of casualties among US troops increased sharply. The new strategy was described as clear, hold and build, a dramatic change from the tactics used over the past few years, where US troops retreated to their fortified bases after brief incursions.
I think it has to do a lot with the fact that we are going into places we have not been before. We are in many areas, both inside of Baghdad and outside Baghdad.
And while the Iraqi government is forbidding the media from covering the aftermath of attacks and is concealing the number of Iraqi deaths, the US is unable to do so. The number of American soldiers dead is now the one tangible indicator that so far the security crackdown isn't producing any real changes on the ground. In fact, the US military has given itself some leeway, stating that the first results to be felt by the residents of Baghdad won't be before the end of the summer.
The full impact of the surge, in my mind, will not be able to be assessed until about August timeframe. And that's when they'll be in place 60 days. So that'll be the first time I'll be able to make a real initial assessment of the true effect of the surge.
George Bush also warned his own people there will be more casualties among soldiers as the security plan unfolds. By the end of June, all the troops will be in place. However, with poor results so far, this latest increase in troops has made the war even more unpopular in the US.
I feel that it's a shame that a lot of innocent, soldiers are dying, and we should do something to bring them back home, and stop this war.
May 2007 is the deadliest month for Americans since November 2004, when thousands of troops were involved in an all-out war against Fallujah. They had managed to clear the town, but the violence just spread elsewhere. This latest plan, many in Washington call it a last-ditch attempt, is at the moment slowly turning Baghdad into one big battlefield. The Bush administration is reportedly already looking into new options, a desperate search for success before the presidential campaign kicks off next fall. Hod Abdelhamid, Al Jazeera.
A government soldier and a Tamil Tiger fighter are the latest casualties of Sri Lanka's increasingly bitter conflict. The army and rebels have been fighting on and off for 24 years, but now Sri Lanka's president says his troops have got the Tamil Tigers retreating. Mahinda Rajapaksa confirmed to Al Jazeera that the 2002 ceasefire is officially over. The Tamil Tigers are fighting for a separate homeland and have traditionally controlled the north and east of the island. Tony Bertley travelled to the front line where the government claims the Tigers are losing ground. This is his exclusive report.
These men are experienced frontline troops, well equipped and determined. They're being briefed as part of an operation to take a Tamil Tigers strategic position. They head off towards an area known as Topigala, near Batticaloa in the east of the country. Jungle and hills, difficult fighting country.
350.
Artillery guns and mortars pound the guerrillas' positions day and night for 48 hours. Under cover of darkness, we went with the main body of the infantry as they move forward. It's slow going, frequent stops. The men wary of the hit-and-run tactics of the Tamil Tigers, experts at guerrilla warfare. Less than 50 metres from the Tiger positions, and the infantry cleared a path through the minefield, ready for the final assault. Then suddenly, the Tigers launched an attack on our flank. Confusion and some panic.
Brigade commander told to bring you all now. Back.
What? Just 2 minutes, and they go. 2 minutes.
You all have to go back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. We're pulling back now. Sri Lankan army's taking control of this area, but haven't managed to reach the bridge yet. The LTTE are starting to throw back fire. We're having to withdraw. An hour later, the main fight is over. The army captured their target, a bridge along a supply road specially built by the Tigers. In the captured position, the only signs of the guerrillas' presence, bullet casings and flip-flops. How confident are your men now?
They are very much confident, and they are in a high morale that they know that they can clear this uncleared area, that means the east, and to liberate these innocent civilians.
There is a newfound confidence within the officers and the troops who feel they are bringing about the closing chapter of this terrible conflict. What sort of damage are you inflicted on the LTTE in this area?
I think if you calculate from Mavilaru up to now, 90% are gone.
The Tamil Tigers may be on the run in the east, but they are still strong in the north. And whatever the successes of the army, a political solution seems to be the only way to bring an end to this war. Tony Bertley, Al Jazeera, Topigala, Eastern Sri Lanka.
Well, in an exclusive interview with Al Jazeera, Sri Lanka's President Mahinda Rajapaksa said the military is succeeding in an all-out effort against the Tamil Tigers. But he added that his government's open for dialogue with the rebels.
The ceasefire has failed. We accept that, but we keep saying that there is a ceasefire. But 8 or 9,000 times the LTTE has violated the agreement. The armed forces have violated it 300 times. Just to show the world, we say that there is a ceasefire. There is such an agreement, but it is not being practiced. Therefore, we must talk of a new solution.
Is there any level of dialogue at all between your government and the LTTE right now?
Actually, at present, there are no talks at any level. As a government, we cannot have talks.
Have you made the offer?
I'm ready if Prabhakaran is ready. We have said that very clearly. I'm ready, but I am not prepared to kneel before the terrorism of the LTTE.
We've had a year now of the government putting an all-out effort to counter the Tamil Tiger terrorism. And in that time, there has not only been no progress made, we see they now have an air force.
I must say this very clearly. We have cleared the east from terrorism. Today they have been limited to Kilinochchi and Mullaitivu areas.
Sri Lanka's president speaking there, while earlier my colleague Jane Dutton spoke to Sinapu Maharasingham, the chairman of the Tamil Action Committee. She started by asking him if he believed the ceasefire was over between the Tamil Tigers and the Sri Lankan government.
Definitely not. I think he is going in a misapprehension, as his predecessors were, that the Tamils are an ordinary bunch of people to whom they can bluff, turn and twist as they go along, and in the process, it is the Tamils who are dying. So, what I feel is this blinkered outlook of successive leaders have brought this plight to this position.